Hello, everyone, and welcome to the annual Toy Piano Festival, sponsored by the UC San Diego Library. I'm Scott Paulson, your host. I'm an alumnus of UC San Diego and a longtime employee here at the UC San Diego Library, here at Geisel Library. How did this festival begin, you might ask? Well, there was one day where the little desk I was working at, the help desk I was working at, I couldn't find the little service bell, ding. And because I couldn't find it, instead I put out this little blue toy piano with a little sign that said, "Please play on piano for service." And that's how this whole sensation began. No one ever wants to play on a service bell, but they sure did want to play on this little blue toy piano. And that's when we realized we were onto something, and we started hosting an annual toy piano festival where we asked composers, most of them alumni, to write new works for toy piano. And there are many, many alumni featured in today's show. We're very, very excited. Well, our first guest is James Chute, and he's playing a delightful piece that he's going to introduce. I think he's calling it Playing Around with Bach or Toying Around with Bach, but I think he'll reintroduce the piece right now. Ladies and gentlemen, James Chute.
Hi, I'm James Chute, and I'm going to toy around with a little Bach.
Bravo, James, bravo. Oh, what does this sign say? Bravo. I hope you're all interacting at home and giving some applause to James Chute, a longtime supporter of our Toy Piano Festival and a wonderful musician. Our next performer is Kiera Sullivan, and her piece is entitled to be titled what she titled it. I lent her one of my favorite toy pianos for this piece, and I warned her, this G sharp here doesn't work. I'm very sorry. And in fact, I'm not sure if she introduces the piece by title, but it's worth repeating. G sharp doesn't work. Let's stay natural. Here's Kiera Sullivan.
This little piece is called G sharp doesn't work. Let's stay natural.
Brava, Kiera, brava. That's my favorite shape piano too. That little 1.5 octave one. I just love that shape. So now we're moving on, and next up is Libby Weber. And I think that Libby's going to be able to unmute herself. That's not what I did recently, but she's on video and she's unmuted herself. And Libby Weber is here. Libby, we've asked you to join us because you wrote a poem about John Cage.
That is correct.
And John Cage is very much a part of our festival. We usually hold the festival on his birthday, September 5th, when we can. This year we did a little later so that we could be more part of the school year. But he was the one of many inspirations for this festival. In fact, the first time we ever held it in 2001, it was on his birthday, and it actually was kind of accident. We didn't really realize it was his birthday until just like maybe the night before, so we pretended we meant it.
Of course.
But we stuck with it, and we mean it now. We sure do. So he was the first composer to write a serious piece for toy piano, and he was also on this campus a few different times. For instance, in a couple weeks around 1980 something, when I was here, I was able to attend some lectures of his along with my colleague Peter Flynn and others, and he was such an inspiration. And apparently he inspired you too. And you're reading from your book, sort of a sonnet a day book that you published to great acclaim. And so I would love to hear that poem now.
I would be delighted to read it for you. So the book is Risk Averse, a year of daily sonnets by me, Libby Weber. And this is the appropriately enough, this is the poem for John Cage's birthday on September 5th. And it is entitled Sonnet for Prepared Poet. Oh, why in heaven's name don't people read? A fugue is a more complicated game. Art goes within, and I don't see the need. It was a pleasure, and now just the same. Do you live, or do you insist on words? Consider this non-dualistically. Accepted 1, major and minor thirds, and this is pleasing momentarily. This sonnet has thus been composed of lines from lectures, poems, and writings by John Cage. A phrase, like sound, can be thus redefined when juxtaposed or heard upon a stage. Of that great polymath, it's but a facet. An admiration for him should be tacit.
Brava, Libby Weber, brava.
Thank you. And there was, of course, the tacit is a reference to his
4 minutes and 33 seconds, a piece for piano or any other instrument where you sit there and in a way you don't play for 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
And the instructions for performer are just tacit, tacit, tacit. So
yes, it's 3 movements long, as I recall. Yeah, brava. I did catch that. Libby Weber. Thank you for that beautiful poem. Libby Weber, ladies and gentlemen. I think she deserves some applause.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
My great pleasure. Thank you. And next up, I'm just going to do, just a little show and tell. I have a player toy piano with me, which I will turn on. Oh, I have to disappear off screen to do it. It takes a while for it to warm up, the engine. So while that player toy piano is warming up, let me tell you that most toy pianos, a real toy piano, the keys are actually the same width as an actual toy piano. There are some novelty toy pianos with little stubby keys, but Mr. Schoenhut, who was the great maker of toy pianos, really wanted everyone, when they learned on his toy piano, to be able to later, when they played on a real piano, know what a fourth was, know what a fifth was, know what an octave was, and have that feel correct. The keys are the same width as a real piano on a true toy piano. They're not necessarily the same length, but that's not necessarily the biggest issue. And toy pianos either have metal rods in them, or they can have little metal plates. The original ones, it was glass tubes. Can you believe it? Children and glass. It's not a good combination for a toy. Oh, did you hear that sound? Time to It's time to hear a wonderful song on the Play Your Toy Piano. Play. If you can't tell, that's the Piano Roll Blues. The lyrics appear here. Feel free to sing along at home. Oh, second verse, same as the first. And you'll notice that it slowly gets a little faster because the smaller roll has a different tension, and it's not intentional that it goes faster, but it does build excitement. Bravo, Play Your Toy Piano. Bravo. I'll just turn that off and it's on screen. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. A beautiful song, the Piano Roll Blues. And look, truly a little piano roll. So my next guest is a very special guest. It's Janice Kelsh, who's the founder of the Miniature Piano Enthusiast Club. She was a guest at our first ever Toy Piano Festival. She flew all the way in from Hagerstown, Maryland, which is home base for the Miniature Piano Enthusiast Club. And here's Janice now. So glad to reunite with her. Let's give a listen to this interview with Janice Kelsh. Hello, I'm Scott Paulson, and welcome to the 20th Annual Toy Piano Festival at the UC San Diego Library. And yes, I have a celebrity guest, Miss Janice Kelsh from the Miniature Piano Enthusiast Club. She's here with me, and we're reunited at last, Janice, you and I. You actually attended a festival here at Geisel Library in the past, didn't you?
I certainly did. It was the initial one. I was so excited. And that was in September of 2001.
I remember it like it was yesterday, but it was 20 years ago.
That was 20 years ago. And because that was my first trip to San Diego, I decided to make a 2-week vacation out of it. So that was quite nice.
You had fun, and we all made sure of that. That's for sure.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
And you were interviewed by the local news, and you stayed out of trouble.
I did, because it did happen a few days after that was, September the 11th. And so I did spend a lot of time, and I also had an opportunity to go to the Museum of Making Music.
Yes, and it's still going strong, that museum. I'm so glad you went there.
Wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I'm a lapsed member of the Miniature Piano Enthusiast Club. So sorry, I need to sign up. How do I sign in, Miss Janice Kelsh?
Well, right now I am doing some online applications instead of mailing them. So I can certainly mail you an online application.
Thank you.
You can fill it out and send it back to me. Membership is still just $15 a year.
How about that?
And so there's a quarterly newsletter entitled The Musically Yours.
I love that newsletter.
And you know what? I have just produced the 113th issue in July. So the 114th issue will be coming out October the 27th.
Can you believe it? Amazing, amazing.
That's a lot of writing and a lot of reading.
Yes. Now, tell me about some of the activities of the Miniature Piano Enthusiast Club. I'm sure that our festival goers want to know. What does that club do?
There were only 7 conventions, and so the last one was in 2000. And so, but I make presentations quite a bit. Actually, the last year I had a presentation in Charleston, South Carolina for the Show and Hut Collectors Club. And I was actually to present at the International Antique Toy Collectors of America in May, just this past, May.
And guess
However,
what happened?
Because of COVID.
Yes.
And then it was rescheduled for October, and that too was also canceled.
Well, I'm sure they'll reschedule, and I'm sure you'll be there. I look forward to that.
And the one in May was going to be in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, that would have been good. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. Beautiful place. So, and in town, I do some presentations at our local senior center, and I'm generally wearing my piano dress.
People can find you.
Thank you. And also...
Oh, yeah, let's see the cap sleeves. We can't see it in this shot. There it is.
Oh, yes. And then the waist, of course. Oops.
You're going to have to tilt your screen. Let's see.
Let me step back.
It's well worth seeing, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on now. Very nice.
And this was made for me in 2001 just to show up in San Diego. And
yes,
so
I remember.
And I'm still utilizing it.
Yes, yeah. And you're looking so wonderful, Miss Janice Kelsh.
Well, I only turned 73 on May 5th.
You have been on your best behavior, haven't you? You look great. Now tell us about some of those toy pianos behind you. Is there a special one you want to tell me about?
Okay.
Right behind you.
Because I'm in the study and not in the actual toy piano room where there's about 500 or so pianos. But
That's
I did get a video, which I'd like to send.
Oh, yeah,
I did a 5-minute video today. So I just pulled out one of the oldest pieces, which is from Schoenhut, circa 1880s, and it's the Trinity Chimes.
Oh.
And it just has that rich sound as if chime bells or church bells. Yes. And this cute little one here was one that I found at an auction, my first auction in Hagerstown back in the 90s, I believe. And the auctioneer pronounced the name incorrectly. He called it something like Chanute. And most people didn't know what he was talking about.
Aha.
I was Schoenhut, and I was able to get this. Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh, that's one with truly the chimes, the little metal plate chimes.
Absolutely gorgeous.
With the lovely bell-like sound, yeah.
And so these are the only two that I brought into the study today to share.
That's okay. We'll take advantage of your 5-minute tour. That I'll receive that tape. Yes.
And then this was an article that was done in the Journal of Antiques and Collectibles, and I had these pieces here all stacked up. That was like a nice look. Sure and it just gave information on some of my favorite ones. Here again is the one from the Schoenhut, but this was a nice article done. And then a beautiful article was recently done in the Toy Chest magazine, Toy Chest. And because this was the article that was done prior to the speaking engagement that didn't happen, but it's a very nice piece. I'd like to send you, I would actually like to send you this booklet because they sent me 6 of them.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like to mail this to you, and please share that with anyone and everyone because it's a beautifully written article. I'm happy to say that I did write it and it was edited.
Thank you. Excellent.
Because I had an opportunity to meet the 13th grandson of Albert Schoenhut.
How about that?
And
Excellent.
He was a member of the piano club. I had an opportunity before he passed away to be able to sing, play, and record on toy piano Christmas carols for him. And I sent him a tape. I'm glad I kept a tape for myself too.
Yes. I want one.
Oh, yes. And this was the 3rd and 4th pages of that beautiful article.
Excellent.
So I'm going to definitely send this to you because it's a lovely, lovely magazine.
And I'll tell you, I appreciate that because, we tend to do an annual exhibit at Geisel Library at UC San Diego, showing off our collection of toy pianos and our toy piano timeline, which you're in, a featured person in that timeline. And to have that article would be wonderful display. And I can scan it too, so that we can just have it totally open and all the pages be seen. So that'll be wonderful.
And this is up to the minute because this is spring, summer 2020.
very good. And you also appeared this very month in the San Diego Troubadour, which is a local music broadsheet.
Yes,
And there's a
yes.
beautiful picture of you near basically this red toy piano, I think, this model of Schoenhut piano you were standing near.
I was at a Schoenhut convention, and I was a speaker, and I had driven to that one, and I probably had about 10 or 12 pianos with me. I had a 45-minute presentation, and I was just playing over, I believe, a red one and the white one that Renee Trinka had sent. Remember, Renee Trinka sent that white baby grand piano to San Diego?
Yes.
During 2001 celebration. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I'm a lapsed member. Please forgive me, Miss Janice Kelsh, for losing track. I'm going to rejoin the Miniature Piano Enthusiast Club.
Wonderful.
And I know there'll be more activities when we're allowed to have more activities, and I look forward to participating.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we'll provide information to our festival members of how to keep in touch with you. Maybe they'll do a better job than me, perhaps, but I am so grateful for this opportunity to say hello. I look forward to looking at your 5-minute video of your collection.
Oh, yes.
And we'll be in touch throughout the year.
You'll love that video. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
Well, I know it is because you're involved. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Janice Kelsh. So great to have a chance to talk with Janice. The 5-minute video, we're going to try to show at the end of our show, but if we don't get around to showing it, I'll send it out in a social media kind of way. And it'll also be part of our annual exhibit that we do when, next year, when things are different. We'll have a display of the magazine that Janice sent to us. She sent us both copies. We'll have that there, and we'll show her tour on a loop at that exhibit if we're unable to show it this time around. We'll see how the clock cooperates. I did want to talk very briefly about tubular bells. So this is a little cathedral chime piano, toy piano, and it's got tubular bells. It's got a very distinctive sound, tubular bells. Oh, should have shown those keys. And again, these black keys are just there for reference point. They don't do anything to black notes. So this is the key of C, this instrument. But you have to have the black ones there as a reference point. In fact, that John Cage suite for toy piano, it was written in 1948 and considered the first serious piece for toy piano. And it only involves 9 consecutive white notes because he knew that not all toy pianos were of the same range, and many of them were in the key of C only, no accidentals, no black notes. So that was quite brilliant of him to compose the piece that way so that you can play it on almost any toy piano, which is just amazing. So now let's move on to our next interview guest. And I'm very excited that she was available. Judy Schulman. She's a longtime supporter of our Toy Piano Festival. She's been here since day one, since before day one. She was one of the people who saw that little blue toy piano at our desk that said, please play on piano for service. She heard about it and came over intentionally just to play on it. Let's listen to that interview now. Looking forward to that. Judy Schulman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 20th Annual Toy Piano Festival here at UC San Diego's Geisel Library, and I'm here with Judy Schulman, a long-time supporter of our Toy Piano Festival. Judy, look at this toy piano over here. Where does this come from? Tell me the story.
This belonged to my grandmother, Wilma Weiss Gesund.
Yes.
Her stage name in Vienna was Wilma Tureko, Tureko meaning truth. She was a composer in Vienna, and she belonged to an organization called the German-Austrian Composers Band, and it was under the leadership of a man by the name of Ignaz Herbst.
Oh my.
And under his guise, they performed in many places and produced a number of music volumes.
Yet somehow this toy piano ended up becoming one of the most important tools she had
Tell us why.
My grandmother would sleep with this at night. And the reason why is she thought in case she had a melody that she came to her in the middle of the night or in a dream, she could get to her toy piano right away and compose on it.
Amazing. And you've got a booklet of compositions. She took a songwriting class that involved getting recorded and getting published.
That was when she came to America.
Yes.
And the irony is my grandmother, who had been published and who had performed in Vienna as a classical musician, ended up being produced as a country western musician in this
Yes,
country.
absolutely. That one of the songs even bemoans the perils of parking, which is something very close to all of us here at UC San Diego. But there's also a beautiful song called Dear Judy, You Are Here. And who is that song about?
That song is about me because my parents took 7 years to get me conceived. My mother had difficulty conceiving. And so once I was on the way and they knew I'd be born, my Wawa, which is what I called her, grandmother, wrote this song.
And we've performed that song often at the Toy Piano Festival. It's a beautiful song.
And it always makes me cry.
Yes, and then you cry, and then I cry, and then I'm embarrassed, but that's okay. So you have a booklet with you showing a grand concert palace, getting away from the toy piano scene and back to the very serious concert scene.
This is the book, and the book itself has an interesting story. And the story is this picture.
Yes.
Which is where my grandmother and my mother, once they were older, when she was older, performed.
Yes.
And it's called the Musikverein. My German is poor, I apologize. But some of you may recognize this location because for many years, on New Year's Day, Walter Cronkite would perform something from Vienna. He would call it the New Year's Day concert from Vienna.
I do remember those.
Performed here.
Yes. Yeah, amazing.
And it was
Amazing.
one of the places when I went to Vienna, I went to visit. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let me on the stage. I wanted to stand where I thought my grandmother would have stood, but they wouldn't let me do that.
But that's okay. But you've got her toy piano, which she slept with so very often. Where do you keep the instrument?
I keep the instrument in a box in my closet.
Very good. And then once a year, I make you bring it over to the library so we can exhibit it too, that's for sure. And Judy also has with her that vinyl recording we were looking for of her grandmother's, well, country western songs and other published pop pieces. And they're right there on that very album. And that was a fun program for people, I bet, to get their sheet music typeset and printed and published in a vinyl recording.
And this was one of a few, although she had a number that I've been able to find copyrights for online.
Yes.
Only a few actually did get produced. And this is one of them that survived time and didn't get broken.
And how wonderful that you have it. Well, at the festival, we'll try to perform one of your grandmother's pieces, probably Dear Judy, You Are Here, which means you will cry and I will cry, but maybe we'll pull ourselves together and we'll do it. Judy Schulman, thank you for joining me today with your treasures, this wonderful toy piano that you inherited from your grandmother. It just wouldn't be the Toy Piano Festival without this particular toy piano, Miss Judy Schulman, and I know you know it's true.
And it makes a lot, it means a lot to me.
It's our great pleasure. Let's wave goodbye. Bye-bye, Judy.
And we did want to show a couple items that Judy had with her, but somehow we forgot to pull out. There's a picture of Judy holding a picture of her grandmother. Yes. Talking about her great career as a serious composer. And then there's also a picture of that song, Dear Judy, You Are Here. That was part of that publishing program that Judy's grandmother signed up for where she had a chance to learn about how to publish pop songs. And most of these were country western, which is hilarious. And I hope when we're all together, we'll be able to play that tune for you again. Thank you, Judy Schulman. Next up, it's the queen of boogie woogie, Sue Palmer. Whenever Sue is in the country, she's at our festival. And this year I was able to go visit her at her home, and she played outside in her beautiful garden some amazing boogie woogie for us. So here's Sue Palmer, better known as the queen of boogie woogie. Thank you, Sue Palmer. That was an inspiration. And Sue was playing on my favorite toy piano, which I've got right down over here. I'm going to focus in on this as well, the next piece there. This is my favorite one. The Schoenhut people were kind enough to make this one specially for me. Most toy pianos are charmingly out of tune, of course. That's the story. And most of them are more at a, even though they're out of tune, they're more at an international pitch of like A442. But when I'm playing bass clarinet with a toy piano, I just can't come up to pitch. And so they made this one special for me that's closer to A440. So, which is, I'm very grateful that they did that for me. But it's time now to introduce one of my greatest toy piano partners, the most beautiful lady in all of toy piano land, Linda Kernohan. There she is, Linda Kernohan.
Oh.
And my goodness, you clean up nice, Linda. We had a chance to rehearse together, and both of us didn't look this good, but look at us now. And there you are in your beautiful home in Ohio. You're in Ohio these days, yes?
Yes, hello from beautiful Columbus, Ohio.
Wonderful. And you're pursuing your PhD, as I recall.
Yes, it will actually be a DMA, Doctor of Musical Arts and Composition, from the Ohio State University.
Excellent. And you're doing a lot of other things as well. Yeah. And I love that Schoenhut that you've got there.
From the music department at Otterbein University, which is a small school about 20 minutes north of Columbus, where I teach.
Yes. All right. Well, we're going to perform two pieces today, Linda. I think you know that. And one of them is based on John Cage's name. He has a very musical name. You know, in music we tend to basically just have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, although we also have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And the sharps, do, di, re, re, and the flats, you know, la, le. So there are things you can do with names. And Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4. If your name is Vivian, hey, you got chords in there. And for John Cage, it's a very simple and elegant set of letters. And Linda and I are going to now perform a very short suite in honor of John Cage on his name. And I've got my instructions here. All right, Linda, are you ready? I'm going to just set this camera so I'm on my instrument. Okay. Go, Linda. Oh, thank you, Linda. That was very rewarding. And for our next piece, Linda and I are going to play the Koi Pond song, something that early in our careers we did a lot when we were in schools, where we would play just on the black notes of our toy piano and other novelty instruments, and make just a beautiful pentatonic scale, so relaxing, so meditative. And we would hand out toy pianos to the crowd. Oh, I forgot that I'm up here, but I'm ready to perform. So we're going to try to do this for only 50 seconds. Another one of those pieces. That last piece was only 20 measures, but this next piece is 50 seconds in honor of the 50th Geisel Library. Okay. You can keep track of time, Linda. I'm so glad you had the last word, Linda, as it should be. That was delightful. Thank you, Linda. I'm so grateful that we had this chance to reunite one of those silver linings of this COVID situation where all this time we could have been performing together and just, somehow we thought it was supposed to involve a plane ticket, but it surely doesn't have to. And I'm so grateful for this time with you, Linda. But we will be together soon. Bye-bye, Linda. Thank you so much. It was delightful. So the next piece is from a piano duo featuring Kenneth Herman and Barbara Scheidker. It is a 250th for Beethoven, and Ken and Barbara couldn't resist doing a couple movements of I believe it's a Beethoven piano sonata, and it's one movement is 4 minutes and another movement is 4 minutes. So for the next 8 minutes, you will be intrigued to hear Ken and Barbara playing Beethoven. That deserves some applause, that's for sure. Oh, that was excellent, Ken. And excellent, Barbara. Just amazing. You guys practice. I loved seeing and hearing the melodica, Ken. Excellent, excellent job. And I guess those were the gardens at the Unitarian Universalist Church, I think, in the Hillcrest area. It was a lovely setting, wonderful playing. I can't wait to be together with when we can be together again in different times. So our next guests are Samara Rice and Alex Segal, and they're a power couple in the world of toy piano. And they're both alums of UC San Diego, and both have very active careers in music education and as composers. And we're so grateful when they visit us this time of year. And, but this time, they've submitted a tape. It's 3 different pieces that you'll be hearing. And this is the finale of the festival, these 3 pieces from Samara and Alex. And they were written to honor this 20 measure and 50-second exercise that celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Toy Piano Festival and the 50th anniversary of our Geisel Library building here at UC San Diego, that wonderful spaceship building that is such an icon. So here are Samara Rice and Alex Segal.
The piece I am playing today I wrote, and it's entitled Red, and I wrote it for this toy piano, my red toy piano, and the piece is 20 measures and 50 seconds long in dedication to the 20th anniversary of the Toy Piano Festival and the 50th anniversary of the Geisel Library.
In tribute to the 50th anniversary of the Geisel Library, this improvisation is called the 50-Second Blues. 2, 3, 4. In tribute to the 20th anniversary of the San Diego Toy Piano Festival, my composition is entitled A Party in 20 Bars. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Bravo, bravo. Alex and Samara. Wonderful. Well, that definitely deserves a round of applause. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was our 20th annual Toy Piano Festival here at the UC San Diego Library. And we were so grateful to be programmed into many of the programs of the celebration of the 50th of Geisel Library. And that's why we were a little bit later this year than usual. School instruction officially starts tomorrow, October 1st, but it's been Welcome Week, and there are a handful of students here, and there still are a lot of services available on campus, and we're happy to support the students in any way we can. And later, things will get better and we'll be together.